Many beginners actually prefer toe pulls to heel pulls because it's an easy way to find a sense of pseudo-balance. But many get stuck here without being able to break the 5 to 10 second mark reliably, unaware that the very reason toe pulls only feel easier is because they're performed incorrectly. And that's a fact that tends to reveal itself several months and a great deal of confusion later. A toe pull should shift the center of mass from behind to above the hands, creating a momentary float before the fingers and forearm flexors push you back to the wall. But because we're often so fixated on the goal, the float, and the return to safety, that the correct goes out the window. Instead, we default to using the hips and the legs to aggressively swing ourselves back towards the wall, denying the hands of the opportunity to learn the very mechanic they should be responsible for. A toe pull should be thought of as simply a conscious, controlled fall to get the center of mass into alignment, and then a heel pull back to the wall. And if the hands don't understand the mechanics of the heel pull, there is no choice but to use the hips to swing to save the position, which results in this awkward dry humping of the wall because no one wants to land on their spine. So if you struggle to read between the lines, go learn to heel pull. And then once the mechanics of the heel pull are understood, you can return to toe pulls, making the initiation into balance considerably easier. And now the focus shift towards feeling how the pressure changes within the hands as the center of mass moves forwards and backwards. As the hips drift further from the wall, the load should gradually migrate from the palms towards the first knuckle line before the fingers and forearm flexors reverse the movement and return you to the wall.
And once reps here are consistent and reliable, the goal shifts from controlled floats into controlling balance.
The initiation remains identical, but rather than immediately overwhelming the shape and pushing straight back to safety, you begin to delay the overcorrection. The focus is on developing the sensitivity for how much force is required and when it's required. You can feel this through the distribution of pressure within the hands. When the load sits more through the palm and below the first knuckle line, the forearm flexors tend to play the more dominant role, and the pressure comes from the sensation of trying to lift the heel of the hand. As the load migrates closer towards the first knuckle, the finger flexors become increasingly responsible, creating pressure by driving the fingertips through the floor to prevent the body from continuing forwards.
And it's the interaction between these two strategies where balance largely resides.
And remember, no matter how good you get at balancing, there is always pressure within the hands. There is no sweet spot where physics just decides you've suffered enough and does the corrections for you. Because remember, adults learning to handstand is not done in the absence of movement. It's done with a lot of movement and your ability to actually regulate and control it. Because in the early stages, there will always be error. So the goal is to create a buffer of a large margin of error where corrections can occur before the system becomes unrecoverable.